Good morning, everyone. What a wonderful day. Welcome to the Illinois State Library. Welcome to the DeKalb Public Library. My name is Ann Craig, and I'm Secretary White's Director of the Illinois State Library. Thank you so much for coming today to this wonderful and momentous occasion. Under Secretary of State and State Librarian Jesse White's leadership, Illinois libraries have benefited not only from direct grant dollars, but also his vision for programs, such as the mentoring program, Project Next Generation, the Illinois Veterans History Project, and the Illinois Center for the Book to promote reading and writing. In 2013, $50 million was appropriated for construction needs of Illinois public libraries. In addition to this funding, Secretary White administered over $44 million in 2013 grant programs such as talking books for the visually impaired, literacy grants to help adults reading at or below the 9th grade level, and bread and butter grant programs like the school library and public library per capita grant programs. Today, Secretary White's support for the community of DeKalb exemplifies former First Lady Laura Bush's words. Libraries allow children to ask questions about the world and find the answers. The wonderful thing is that once a child learns to use a library, the doors to learning are always open. And now, the man who makes all this possible and makes these doors open, our Secretary of State and State Librarian, Jesse White.
Thank you very much, Ann. It's a pleasure for me to be here in the land of the Huskies. Is that okay? As was indicated, I serve as your Secretary of State, and I run the largest Secretary of State office in the nation with 4,000 employees, a $396 million budget, 138 offices, and 23 agencies. My mission is to help make the roads of Illinois the safest ever, and every day we work toward that end. My other mission is to help communities to become better educated and better informed. And as I look at these young people before us, I know for a fact that one day they're going to help run this great country of ours. It's important for us to give them the tools that are necessary for that to occur. So we want you to remember, boys and girls, that you have to put something between your ears every day other than scalp. We're talking about knowledge, and that will carry you far. We always want you to aim high and work hard toward being the best that you could be. And the only time I want you to look down is to tie your shoes. It's important for us to, it's important for you to make sure that knowledge will flow to you, will not flow from the sky down. It's important for you to read your books, work hard every day, and one day you're going to help run this great country of ours, and we're counting on you to be the best you could be. It's an honor for me to be here with you today. I'd like to introduce or recognize Mr. Bob Pritchard. He is your state representative. I have to go before this gentleman in order to get the funds that I need in order to run the largest office of its kind in the nation. He has always been there for us. He has always shared with us his thoughts and ideas as to how we could best run the office of the Secretary of State. You should be proud to have him as your representative. And Bob, as they would say in my neighborhood, you the man. You also have the mayor, John Ray, the mayor of DeKalb. Clark Neer, he's the library president. Dee Coover, library director. Dee Brennan, executive director, Reaching Across the Illinois Library System. Bill Nicholas, Northern Illinois University vice president. It's always good to have a true Husky in the house. And then we also have students from Jefferson School here in the wonderful city of DeKalb. You have the members of the library board, and you also have people within the community, and we also have those individuals who have helped to generate the funds that are needed for us to give you a check that I'm going to present in a few moments. So with that, I want to applaud, commend, and thank all of you for your giving and caring spirit and for making a difference in the lives of the people within your community. I am delighted to be here today to present the largest award through the Public Library Construction Ag Grant Program. $11.6 million that I'm going to present to you today. I'm also going, what do you think about that? And the funds will be used to purchase 48,000 square feet of land to the west to be used for an addition to this wonderful library and to make the necessary improvements that you seek. You were instrumental in bringing about your portion of the proposal, $13 million. What do you think about raising $13 million within the community? I have traveled all over the state of Illinois making grants, but this is the first time a community has been instrumental in raising this kind of money. And this is the largest award that we've been able to give, and we're just honored to make sure that we give it to communities that have a commitment to making the necessary improvements so that individuals who come to this wonderful library can become better educated and better informed. And of course, the library is a place where people come because they want to become better educated, better informed. They also want to learn to read and write, as well as do papers, do some research, do the term papers. The list goes on and on. So this is the safety net, the light at the end of the tunnel, the safety net for the people within your community. And I want to applaud, commend, and thank you for your giving and caring spirit and for making a difference in the lives of those within your community. And then, of course, we also want you to be sure to look at the renderings over on the kiosk. I was impressed with it. It's in 3D form, and I want to thank the architects for their artistic skills. What do you think about that? When you see what is being proposed with regard to this library, you cannot leave here not being impressed, because whoever the architect was and whoever the people are here in the library who decided that this is the way they wanted to go, you're to be applauded and commended for a job well done. And so as I sit down, but before I sit down, I want to make a presentation of a check. The check is pretty large, so I just want you to know that you cannot put it in the bank in its current form. So with that, I have a check. We have Mr. Castle, who is here. Mr. Castle, can you stand up? Mr. Castle is a dear friend of mine. Of course, he has a commitment to this community, and some of his people fish with me up in Canada on a regular basis. But I hope that when you make the presentation to his bank, even in that form, I hope that you will accept it, sir. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Thank you for being good neighbors. Thank you for being good people. Thank you for looking to your future. These young people are going to help run this great country of ours. It's important for them to have the safety net, the light at the end of the tunnel. And of course, boys and girls, we're counting on you to be the best you could be. I try to speak about 7 different languages. I believe you can speak someone else's language, eat their food, learn their dance, and learn about their culture. It makes for a good relationship. So I want you to try that, okay, boys and girls? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy.
What a happy day. Now I'd like to introduce, it is my pleasure to say a few words, our good library friend, Representative Robert Pritchard. Representative.
Good morning. It's especially an exciting moment to have the Secretary of State here and, of course, our Executive Director of the State Library, Ann Craig, and then they brought some money along with them. It's a double honor to have them with us this morning. And they really helped us to celebrate what at many times seemed like an impossible dream, that we could add this kind of expansion to our library, even despite the need. Raising $24.6 million for the expansion in these economic times is significant in itself. But then achieving it despite land limitations and preserving the wonderful historic character of the current building, I think was really a phenomenon that we are especially delighted for, Dee. The vision of this expansion would have remained just that, but for the state's Job Now capital program that the Secretary's already alluded to, with $50 million for library construction. There were 47 public libraries that competed for those funds and had to pass a very rigorous review, scoring, and then a priority ranking, and then raise the local share of the funding in a short amount of time. DeKalb was well suited for selection since it has been very successful in carrying out its mission of informing, educating, entertaining, and inspiring the citizens of DeKalb. These are also a general agreement in the community that the library could no longer meet the modern needs that this community had for its library, since it was built with just 8,000 people in this community and now boasting more than 45,000 and daily patrons of more than 1,000. We're very cozy here this morning. I can't imagine those kinds of utilization numbers on a regular basis. So we can take very good pride in the fact that our dream and our vision has been realized. A vibrant library is important for the economic development of any community. Employees want to see in their community that they have the latest medical and park and schools and public safety and, of course, libraries that are first-rate. It's also important that libraries help in very important ways with economic development. They also help as a social function to help provide a safety environment for our young people, to help provide job application opportunities on the internet, to help with training of various skills, and then, of course, the entertainment, and much, much more. But raising over $12 million in local funds in the allotted time would not have been possible without great community support and cooperation. Our citizens can be very proud of the blending of city and bank loans, of TIF funds, of libraries funds and reserves, and of course the many gifts from private individuals and corporations. We owe our gratitude to Dee Coover, the library board and staff, of course our Mayor John Ray and the City Council and staff. We also need to thank various community banks that have participated and, of course, various citizens who have contributed to this fund. We owe a great deal of gratitude to the State Library staff and Ann as well. Of course, she's a former NIU Husky graduate, but nevertheless, she was very objective in all of this review, and we didn't get any breaks, I can assure you of that. But it took a lot of cooperation and staff. Most important, I think today is a time to celebrate what libraries are all about, and that it is achieving our financial goals, certainly, but it's also a day to celebrate the value of libraries and all those in the past and present who have helped develop, perpetuate, and enhance this great asset. Have a great day.
And now it is my pleasure to welcome my friend, Dee Coover, the director of the DeKalb Public Library.
Yay! Good morning, Secretary White, Mayor Ray, Representative Pritchard, Director Craig, and supporters of the DeKalb Public Library. On February the 15th, 1931, almost exactly 83 years ago, this beautiful building was dedicated. The theme at the dedication ceremony was more than a house of stone. All of the money to build this library and buy the land came from a generous bequest from one of our local barbed wire inventors, Jacob Haish. To put that dollar amount into perspective, the industrialist Andrew Carnegie built 300 libraries across the United States. Techie, roadie, right. And he's tall, too. Right. Shall I start again for every pearl of wisdom? Right. To put that dollar amount into perspective, the industrialist Andrew Carnegie built 300 libraries across the United States at the turn of the century. The average cost was $10,000. Jacob Haish left $150,000 to establish the first permanent home for the DeKalb Public Library. The library had existed in 2 rented quarters since its founding in 1893, but had no permanent home. Jacob Haish and the Board of Trustees wanted a permanent home for the library, and they wanted it to be an art gallery, a community meeting place, and to have within it the capacity for everyone to explore their potential. Indeed, more than a house of stone. The building that you are in today is on the National Register of Historic Places. This grant from the Illinois State Library will help us expand this building, which means that the vision of 1930 will be extended into perhaps a 3rd century. Thank you for being here today and supporting our current vision, which is built on the long-standing history of support of literacy in this community.
Thank you, Dee. And now I'd like to introduce Library Board President Clark Neer. President Neer.
Thank you. I am just thrilled to be here for this amazing event, the building of our new library. I don't use the word amazing in any hyperbolic way. It is amazing that this idea that has been in our minds for years and years and has brought together such a diverse group of people from every level in our state and in our society. It's fantastic. I want to thank especially the Secretary of State in Springfield, Jesse White, and I want to thank Ann Craig, the Director of Illinois Library Services. They have both just been so marvelous in making this possible. Thank you very much. But it isn't just at the Springfield level. A part of this diversity is the city of DeKalb. And we have had mayors, city council, city staff who have been supportive. In particular, Mayors Van Buren, Mayor Polson, and now Mayor John Ray, who have at every turn been supportive of what we have wanted to do. And the DeKalb Council has voted in favor of all of our ideas, and the staff has been superb. And I want to thank especially Rudy Espiritu, who helped guide us, shepherd us through the legislative labyrinth that made it possible for this to happen. Thank you, Rudy. DeKalb is very fortunate. It has so many people who are civic-minded, and that has made this possible. I'm thinking, for example, of the businesses, the individuals, the foundations, and the banks. You know that the Resource Bank, the National Bank and Trust, and very much the Castle Bank have led us and made all of this possible. It's amazing, to use that word again, that they have done that and shown such trust in what our vision was to bring a vital, vibrant library to DeKalb. So thank you, bankers. And of course, the taxpayers. They have been marvelous and will be marvelous in helping us reach our goals. Perhaps above all is the library staff. You know, there are some 60 persons who are hired by the DeKalb Public Library. For years and years, they have kept this library going and received accolade after accolade. And at the very same time, planning, and I can't tell you how much time went into that, but planning for this expansion. And they have been led by Director D. Coover. Irrepressible, tenacious. I'm crazy about Dee. We all are. But she has been marvelous in making this possible. And one of the aspects of Dee's leadership that I admire so much is that she surrounds herself with outstanding people. I'm thinking, for example, of our great architecture firm, Nagel and Hartre, and in particular, the leaders today who have given us so much time, so many marvelous ideas, and that is Don McKay, sitting here, and Eric Penny. We have a wonderful owner's representative, Graham Harwood, who is in the audience today. Thank you, Graham. We have a senior library consultant, Fred Schlipp, who from the day one that all of this began years ago has helped us. So for all of those reasons, today is a day that I think more than ever, I feel really proud to be a DeKalbian. Thank you.
And now it is my pleasure to introduce your mayor, the DeKalb City Mayor, John Ray. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Ann. Excuse me, I dropped my card. I'm very proud to say I'm a card-carrying member of the DeKalb Public Library. And it's been my pleasure to assist with the input to the grant writing and the planning of this initiative with several of the library board and staff over the past 18 months. This library is truly an asset to the entire community. I commend Dee Coover and the entire board and staff for their diligence with this project. It is a cornerstone to the heart of the community, providing services from job searches to business research, community meeting rooms, and from borrowing ebooks to videos, reading groups, computer training classes, story time, and much more. Our library physical space is in need of expansion to continue serving the needs of community, services our community wants, needs, and deserves. Opened in 1930, the last expansion was done in 1970, and it gave us 19,000 square feet of service space. This 46,000 square foot addition will allow continued services to our citizens, including underserved population, people with disabilities, helping to enrich their lives and those of their children. As a recipient of the state eligibility grant from the Library Fund through this project, we have formed a public-private partnership with citizens, businesses, and local and state government, joining us as a team to make resources conveniently available to the community. Again, services we want, we need, and deserve. I'm very pleased to participate in this partnership as the City of DeKalb and look forward to many years of collaboration as we move into the future. I'm excited to be part of today's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And now I'd like to introduce the DeKalb Assistant City Manager, Rudy Espiritu. Rudy?
Well, good morning. It's great to be here. You know, for a long time, a lot of us didn't know if this day would ever come. So how wonderful is it that we get to share together this great space that's going to come to our DeKalb community. Now, as the city's liaison to the library, I had the pleasure of working with Dee and the library board on this project since I've been here in DeKalb. If I can say a little story, in February of last year, I had the pleasure of driving down to Springfield. This is with Clark Neer, Virginia Cassidy, Dee Coover, and of course, our trusty navigator, Gary Coover. We probably would have never made it without Gary. So we went down to Springfield to meet with Director Ann Craig and her staff. Specifically, we wanted to know, there goes the mic. Sorry about that. So specifically, we wanted to know what it would take if DeKalb was awarded this grant, what would be the requirements on the local level? So Director Craig and her staff were very helpful, very professional, and told us that there were numerous libraries applying for this grant in need of various funding for construction, and this would be a competitive process. The state librarian also made it clear that for this grant to be awarded, the library had to secure financing for the rest of the project, which at that time, again, keep in mind this is last February, which totaled approximately $15.5 million by June 1st. So this was a monumental task that had to be done in just a couple months. Well, I'm proud to say that this community, the DeKalb community, stepped up and made that happen. The library obtained financial support from the city, $2 million from the city, our local banks, numerous donors, and of course, our residents. I don't know if any public library in the state of Illinois can say that their library expansion was 50% funded through a state grant, which approximately 25% of that, of the rest of it, being paid by donations, and the other 25% being paid by our residents. What a great partnership this was from multiple entities to make this project happen. I mean, you can sense, there's a sense in this room of community, and that's what we have here. How wonderful we have it here in DeKalb. So because of the strong support from our state officials, Secretary White, Director Craig, Representative Pritchard, because of the tireless efforts of Dee Coover and her staff, the library board, a lot of them are here today, because of the support of the DeKalb community, we look forward to a state-of-the-art library that will enrich our city for future generations. So thank you very much for making this happen.
And now I'd like to introduce from the Castle Bank, Frank Roberts. Mr. Roberts.
Thank you very much, Ann. Castle Bank's passion for our customers and communities is reflected throughout the organization through our support of countless community events and fundraising initiatives across the DeKalb community and Northern Illinois University. The DeKalb Public Library project is certainly something that Castle Bank and our financial partners, National Bank and Trust and Resource Bank, are passionate about. Thanks to a broad-based effort involving the state of Illinois, the city of DeKalb, and numerous individuals and corporate contributors, this $25 million expansion has progressed from a beautiful vision to the reality that we celebrate today. It has been so rewarding personally to be involved in this project from its inception, and I'm proud to stand before you today representing the partner banks. The DeKalb Public Library is a unique treasure in our community, and we are thrilled to support this critical effort to not only renew but to expand this beautiful building. I'm pleased to announce that Castle Bank has presented the library with a gift of $120,000 towards this expansion project. We hope that by making this gift, we will encourage others in the community to join the fundraising effort needed to complete this unprecedented initiative. Obviously, we're off to a great start thanks to the support of organizations that are represented here today, but we need gifts in any amount from individuals throughout the community to meet our goals. We know that we can count on you, the businesses in the individuals in the surrounding communities, and on behalf of the banks, we're just delighted to be a part of this project. On a personal note, I cannot tell you in my involvement what an absolute treasure Dee Coover is to this community and this library. I am off script, which I was told not to do, and I often want to do, but for this moment I'm going to do that. Dee is just the best, and we had a lot of conversations in my office and in your office back there about this whole project, the thrill, the opportunities, the occasional frustration, and no was not an option. And I think because of her tenacity and her vision and her leadership, we are here today, not only with the support of so many other people, but Dee, this project is here because of your leadership, so thank you for that very much.
How true it is. And now I'd like to introduce the NIU Vice President, Bill Nicholas. Vice President.
Thank you, and good morning. On behalf of President Baker and the NIU Board of Trustees, I want to say congratulations. We applaud the terrific work which has been outlined here today of both the board, the administration of the DeKalb Public Library. I also want to say thank you, Mr. Secretary and Director Craig. I can, if you'll allow me, you the man, and you the woman. What to add? I was looking in the audience, and a young man in front of me, I don't mean to draw attention to you, has a T-shirt that says, "Life is full of important choices," and that's my message to you today. And what are those choices? Secretary White said very well, our choice in life is to be all we can be or not. And one of the ways that we can be all we can be is to have an open mind and an open heart. And if we start with that, and with the tremendous resource that this library has always been, and an even bigger resource that it will become very soon, we are well along the way. We at NIU certainly believe in that, and we are here to offer our full support. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, a young lady who I believe is our youngest speaker ever, Emily Overton from the Jefferson School, is going to say a few words. And what grade are you in, Emily? She's in the 5th grade. Please help me welcome Emily.
everyone. My name is Emmy Overton, and I am very excited to talk with you about the DeKalb Public Library and what it has meant to me. First of all, I think the library is just a beautiful place to visit. The building looks so different than the other buildings in town. I love seeing all the gardens and the fountains in the spring and summer, and I enjoy looking at the artwork, like the artwork in the reading room. I am always amused by the statue of Humpty Dumpty when we visit the library, and used to say goodbye to the Husky Rover when we left. The only thing is that sometimes the library has seemed a little crowded, and I'm very glad that it is expanding. Albert Einstein, who is one of my heroes, once said, "The only thing you absolutely have to know is the location of the library." I think he's absolutely right. The DeKalb Library is a place where you can learn many new and interesting things. For example, I love animals, and I have learned a lot about them from many animal books I've checked out. Some of my favorites were Diary of a Worm, Diary of a Fly, and Diary of a Spider. Did you know that Did you know that worms help the earth breathe because they dig tunnels in the dirt, or that spiders grow by shedding their skin? Well, there are just a couple of the things I learned by checking out those books. Lloyd Alexander, a children's and young adult author, once said, "Books can truly change our lives, the lives of those who read them and the lives of those who write them. Readers and writers alike discover things they never knew about the world and about themselves." I've discovered all kinds of things with the books and CDs and DVDs I have checked out from the DeKalb Library, and has certainly helped me learn about myself too. Finally, the DeKalb Library has been a place where I can get to know my family and community better. When I was younger, my mom would take me, my sister Maddie, my cousin Jack, and me to the library almost every weekend. We would talk about the history of the library and DeKalb. My mom was a history teacher, so that was just unavoidable. Sometimes I would see my friends or my teachers at the library, and it was nice to be able to say hi to them. Maddie, Jack, and Mom would help me find books, and they would share the things they were interested in and reading about with me. I found out a bunch of great books and topics that way. My cousin Jack introduced me to Garfield and Garfield cartoons and movies, and to this day I'm still in love with Garfield. Sometimes when we met our reading goal, Mom would take us out for a special treat. One time we got to eat an entire kitchen sink sundae from Flippin' Eggs. That was a great time. The DeKalb Library is a beautiful and amazing place to learn about the world and your community and yourself. And plans to make it bigger just mean the library will be even more incredible in the future. Thank you to everyone who's making the future of DeKalb brighter by helping to support its wonderful library.
Wasn't she wonderful? What a great message. Thank you, Emily. That was wonderful. And now I'd like to introduce Michael Thomas from the Disability Commission. Michael.
Hi. A couple of years ago, Dee Coover came to the City of DeKalb Advisory Commission on Disabilities with her vision. A vision of a library that was going to be bigger and serve the entire community. And by the entire community, I mean every member, including those with disabilities. This really hit home to me and the entire commission. It was tough because we have this gem in the middle of our city, a gem that the entire community uses, but because of it being built in 1930, because of it not having an elevator, it was very difficult for many of the members of the community to access what they needed here. And in my own case, libraries are very important. My wife, Lynn, is the curator of rare books and special collections at Northern Illinois University. And our daughter, Caitlin, who's also in 5th grade, uses a wheelchair. Every year, coming here for anything would always be a great difficulty. Having to leave the building downstairs, the children's section, to come around in the snow and the cold, to get all the way around to come to the adult section. When Dee presented her vision to us, and we realized what it would mean to us and to everyone like Caitlin, immediately the Advisory Commission on Disability did whatever we could to help. We helped with the grant, we spoke to the City Council, Lynn and I participated in a video, and I can't tell you how much this day means to us, means to my family, means to everyone in the City of DeKalb who has a disability, who knows now that the new library will be accessible to everybody. that this will be a place for everyone in the community to gather, learn, share information. Just thank you. Thank you, everybody, for everything you've done to make this dream possible. And thank you so much, DeKalb, for making it happen at times when it was, I think many of us didn't think it would. And you kept going, and everyone here helped, and thank you for everybody.
Thank you, Michael. And finally, Don McKay, the architect of this wonderful, wonderful plan that we see in front of us.
Thank you. I think like everyone who comes to this building for the first time, we were totally wowed at what an architectural gem this building was. And I think that first impression has really been a lasting impression for us. It's been something that's been at the forefront of our thoughts as we've moved through this entire design process. The design process has been long, at sometimes it's been somewhat torturous, but I think in the end we've arrived at a building that, as you'll see illustrated in the renderings and the computers scattered around the library, we've arrived at a building that I think honors the beauty and the character of this magnificent original structure. I think first by simply preserving it and making sure that this will continue to be DeKalb's public library going forward. And I think secondly by finding a way to expand it that will increase rather than decrease the relevance of this existing structure. The new DeKalb Library, as has been said, will be a state-of-the-art facility, and it will be accessible to everyone in the community. But it will also carry with it the memories of a community and the histories of everybody who's ever used the building. We invite you to come back in a couple of years when it's finished and take the measure of how well we've done. Thank you.
Now I'd like to recognize the DeKalb Public Library Board of Trustees, and if you could please stand and remain standing until I finish, and then we'll give you a round of applause. As your president, he's already spoken, but President Neer, could you stand please, sir? Virginia Cassidy, the vice president. Virginia? Imelda Kohler. Imelda? You are the secretary. Susan Richter, the treasurer. Wendell Johnson. And is there anyone else from the board? Okay, please, I'm sorry. Carolyn Massey, thank you so much. And to these people who serve, volunteer, let's give them a huge round of applause. And before Secretary White makes his concluding remarks, please join me once again in thanking everyone seated here for their wonderful, wonderful contribution to this effort.
Thank you very much, Ann, and to you, ladies and gentlemen, for your giving and caring spirit. As I leave, going on to Sandwich, Illinois, and then from there to Glen Ellen, Illinois, to show some love. It has been a wonderful experience to be here with you, to meet so many wonderful individuals who want to make an investment in their future. I want to applaud, commend, and thank you for a job well done. It's a known fact that when we work together and live together, some wonderful things happen. Some wonderful things are happening here in DeKalb. Go forward with this wonderful project. And remember, these young people will run this great country one day. It's important for us to do all we can to help them to go tall and straight, and to help them become better educated, better informed. And young people, I want you to remember, when it comes to school, you must be in school, on time, every day, and have one aim in mind, and that is to get the best education possible. Thank you, and enjoy. And I was told that we have some liquid and gastronomical appeasement. I think that's food and drink in the back. So move to the back of the room and enjoy those wonderful refreshments. And again, thank you for allowing me an opportunity to come to this wonderful city, to this wonderful library. And of course, if by chance you would like to have me back here in this wonderful community of yours, it's simple. Invite me. Thank you.